subject is image making. I had very few alternatives. In fact, when I submitted my list to you, I didn't give you a second one. But the other two that were that I had actually thought of were one we're going to be talking about later, the Karel Zeman Baron Munchausen film, and then Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. Dreams, in particular, is sort of his Kurosawa's like most sort of visually sumptuous film. I mean, he's sort of his camera work and his blocking and all that is always staggering.
My birth year pick, 1973, is Terrence Malick's Badlands. I've seen it projected, and I've seen it on Pan and Scan videotape.
Oh, God.
Guess which one's better?
Yeah. Well, the videotape, obviously.
Right. And it was such a standout thing because it was first seeing it Pan and Scan, and then on the big screen, like, wow.
Oh, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, you can make the sky look like that. A trash truck can be that interesting. Wow, Martin Sheen, that young. So Badlands, which I think is a really interesting visual experience, and also all of the rest attached to it is worth considering, too.
Yeah.
When I think about my Under the Tentpole series devoted to titles that are exposed from my textbook, the one I like to bring to people is They Shall Not Grow Old. Peter Jackson's renovation of the past documentary.
Oh, the World War I one?
That's right.
Okay.
And it's a troublesome thing when we think about image making because he makes a very peculiar choice that I used to poo-poo, but because of the way he did it, it's sort of interesting and acceptable, and that is colorization. Mm-hmm. He takes black and white footage that was shot during the war years, sometimes just behind the front line while people are in active warfare, and certainly afterwards while dealing with troopers who are coming away from a front line who are frazzled and difficult, and looking at the dead and the destroyed and landscapes that have been mangled. And all of that, at a certain point in the movie, I think it's maybe 20 minutes in or so, there's an explanation of sort of what's happening and how this is all changing, and then suddenly the digital tools that he has developed just transform this black and white universe into something that looks not quite photographically real to the present using my own eyes, but closer to the present.
Right.
And it's spooky.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the point. It's designed as his way of trying to honor his grandparents, I think his grandfathers in particular, who did serve in the war. And that had something to do with the way that they ended up migrating down into New Zealand over the years. Anyway, all of that personal stuff that gets him shoehorned into the project, and then all of the audio tracks, which were then aged veterans being recorded like in the 1950s or 60s as the track, not necessarily corresponding with the images, because it's not one-to-one. This voice is that guy. It's not like that. But it is a really chattery, interesting visual document that's deeply disturbing. Also kind of beautiful, and a really great tour de force of what it is to do image making in a movie through some of the most unexpected means possible, which is doctoring footage that actually exists to update it for a contemporary audience that needs a little help evaluating and thinking about the past. So that's the movie for me. They Shall Not Grow Old.
Good one.
Boop boopity doo.